performance, the mind shift that you had to make regarding just performance only.
Yeah, and yeah, but you hit it right on the nail on the head. As far as the package that I wrote to get into that program, like all she did was sign it. Like she just read it, signed it, didn't make any changes. Like it was good to go. So waited a few weeks. They announced who got in, and like it was I was proud. I was a
You
proud
should be.
moment because like I did this, like and my manager was proud too because there was no doubt that I was gonna get it. Like my thought was if they don't put me in the program, they're missing something. Like I'm definitely material for this program, so I wasn't worried at all about getting in. Uh, but as far as changing from a performance based mindset to networking, man, it was a challenge. Like socially, I'm cool, man. You put me in a room, as long as I have an opportunity to prepare about what I'm talking about, I'll talk to anybody. Like CEOs, executive vice president, the guy in the warehouse, administrators. It don't matter. Like I'm good to go. But man, just understanding like the a better way or a different way to get where I wanted to go. Like I mean, I guess you could get there performance based, but it's gonna take a long time. Like,
Mm.
but knowing people, just listening to you, and of course, somebody who's been there, and giving that advice, and give me some instructions what to do. Yeah, and the wildest thing is that I had been at the company a short time. Like, there's a lot of people that've been there a long time, so. Just start, finding directors in different roles. And one of the things I did was look at the job board, some of the jobs they had open. I'm like, oh, this is something in my arena or something I want to do. So I would, put a meeting. I'd send a director a message like, hey, I'm interested in what your organization's doing. Can I set up some time to talk? And they're pretty receptive. And and a couple of key points I did that I learned later in the EDL program. I was already doing this stuff. I don't. That's just how it worked. But I would set up a short meeting, 15, 20 minutes. I'm gonna get in, hit it hard, and get out. I just want to make a good impression, and I don't want to take up too much time because I know these senior directors and senior managers. They're all busy folks. They don't have time to just you know talk about whatever. So when I send a meeting invite, there's an agenda. Like, hey, who I am, my background experience, a little bit what about your organization, and then we talk from there. So I was campaigning, man. It was I went I went into full campaign mode. It wasn't just networking. I was campaigning. I was hitting them up, and a few of those directors like I have really good relationships with. So yeah, it was a man. What a change going from performance. I guess that's kind of the blue collar roots. You get out there and work hard. Somebody's gonna recognize it and pay you.
Hmm.
But in the tech world, I mean, you can only go so far. You got to get out there and meet other people. And it was tough, but once you get into it, it's pretty easy. Like I'm just you know meeting new people, having conversations with. I'm good with, but it's just in the work area. Like it was just being at work is just different than like being out at a bar, or restaurant, or just out meeting people. But at work, it's different. Like uh, and of course, they have an understanding. Like I let them know, like, hey, I'm looking for my next role. I'm actively looking. My manager's she's giving me approval. I'm actively looking for my next role. So I hit them with exactly what I don't beat around the bush. I get to it because I got 15, 20 minutes. I'm getting to it right away.
Yeah.
So, and a couple of them, they asked me to make our meetings reoccurring, which was
I love
really
that.
encouraging. I'm like, oh, and one of the best compliments I got while complimenting is one of the managers told me, he's like, man, he's like, you got the skills as far as technically, but you obviously have the soft skills. I was like, man, that's really really good compliment. He's like, you're gonna go far. He's like, I don't have anything right now, but you're gonna go far. I'm like, oh, cool, I
I
appreciate that.
I love that, Damon. I absolutely love that, and that's what it's about. That's what it's about, right? Obviously, the technical skills will carry you far. I mean, at the end of the day, they will carry you far. But if you're talking about getting to leadership where you have to be able to influence people and get people behind your program and so forth, you have to have that ability to relate to people, and that's where a lot of people fall short, especially in the tech, right? Because they think that all this IT certifications and all the stuff that you do with your hands and your mind is what's going to get you to that level. Yes, you can be the top software engineer and so forth, but if you don't ask for the things that you want, you're not going to get it. First of all, two, if you don't know people and they don't know the work that you do, you're not going to get it. Three, if you don't know the people who can help you get to the positions that you want, or if they don't know that you want to get to positions of power or positions that are higher in the organization that pay more and so forth, you're not going to get it either. And the way you get an opportunity to meet these people is by campaigning, is by having those strong soft skills, is by being bold, is by, taking and betting on yourself, right? And also, not only that, going back to the title of this video, right? You had a lot to learn, right? It's and also being a student of it all. I mean, Damien's progression went from network engineer to, project manager to, major incident manager to, we haven't even got to what just happened to him, right? He hasn't even told that story. So, I want him to get to that part of it as well, too, right? But you see the progression in his career. You think about some of the things that we talk about on the channel. It's all what Damien does and did. He's serious. He was serious the entire time, right? He made sure that, everybody, well, first of all, he was valuable and he had the skills. He showed up every day, which is most important, just showing up, right? But also learning that your performance is going to carry you to a certain point. But then you really have to start to, asking for more. You have to also meet people and understand that it all comes down to people. And ultimately, when you know the right people in the right positions in the right places, you're going to get a lot of opportunities. And that's what Damien capitalized on. And Damien, talk about, you were in a major incident management team for some time. You start the campaigns. You got, into this prestigious management program at Dell. Tell the folks what just recently happened, man. Get to it. I gotta do this full screen, man. I gotta do this full screen.
Okay. Well, I started doing interviews for roles that I like, and at this point in my career, I already know like I'm gonna hear some no's, like, but it doesn't bother me because I mean it's not because I don't have the confidence for those roles. It's just that's just what's gonna happen. Like I'm gonna hear some no's. So hearing no is kind of I guess it challenges me even more. Like I'm even more. I get even more aggressive. It becomes kind of like a game. Like, what do I need to do to get these roles? But in my mind, I know it's just a matter of time before I land one. And one of the things that happened is one of the management roles there.
Oh, hold on, Damien. Hold on, Damien. 1 second. I did something. I did the wrong. I hit the wrong button. Go ahead. Continue on, sir. You said one of the coolest
So
things.
yeah, so one of the most of all the interviews at that point that I had been on, they were all on Teams, just an audio call. You interview with first of all some of the team, and then usually the hiring manager. But on one of the interviews I went into, I guess they started flipping on video. They're like, "Hey, let's do video today." I'm like, "Cool." Turn my camera on. I got my sport coat on, my button up shirt. I'm ready to go, man. I'm prepared. I wake up with my pants on, so it ain't a whole lot that you're gonna do to get me off of my goal. So I'm ready to go. So I think that kind of maybe they surprised a few people with it, but they did with me. I was ready. Like I put the camera on. Let's do this. But I didn't get that role. But anyway, I found a role as a senior project manager role, but as a technical project manager for the Dell Customer Solutions Center. In the Customer Solutions Center, like what I'm going to be doing is managing the role is to manage the big projects, the POCs and pre-sales projects. So I'll be working with the solution engineers and the sales team, and it's not where I was in major incident management. It's kind of like in the IT org, but this role is in sales. I'm like, oh, okay. So I got excited about that. Antoine's in sales. He talking about getting over there and doing the sales thing. So now I'm on the sales side of the house. So I meet with the director. He likes me. I meet with a couple of his managers. They like me. Third interview, I meet with some of the project management team, the global project management team. They like me. So my new manager calls me. Well, I hadn't got the role yet, but the manager for the role calls me, or no, she sends me a message in Teams like, "Hey, can you come to the office sometime this week?" I'm like, "Cool." It was like Wednesday. She was like, "Some of the teams in town." So I said, "Cool, I'll be there Friday." I had never been on campus before, so I get there and I'm expecting this is, hey, congratulations, come meet the team, that kind of thing. But it wasn't. It was another interview. It was the manager and another project manager and some of the solution engineers. Like we walk in, she sits me. We sit in the conference room and I started bringing people in. I'm like, oh man, this ain't what I thought it was. This is an interview. This ain't congratulations, welcome to the team. This is interview. The fourth one. I'm like, yeah. So at the end of the day, the manager, she lets me know like, hey, you're my lead candidate. She just really wanted to know, was I going to stick around in the role and be, give them some time, like a couple of few years. And I was like, yeah. I mean, this is what I'm looking for. Like, I get to manage projects, be on the leading edge of Dell's technology, and that's the kind of thing. I got a leg in project management and technology, so this is a perfect role for me.
Mm.
So that was on a Friday. Monday, I get an email with the offer letter. So I look at the offer letter. I'm like, I had to look twice. I'm like, okay, they obviously recognize like Will Smith. They recognize the skills, and they want me to be happy and stay there. And it was a 48% bump. I was happy about it, but I wasn't surprised.
Mm.
I was like, oh, they recognize and they want me to stay. So I was like, I accepted, and I'll start that on Monday. I start in the customer solution center, working with the sales teams and solution engineers, running projects and POCs for pre-sales and all of Dell's over there at Dell.
Wow. Wow. No, that is absolutely fantastic, David. I'm smiling because it's a lot to take away from this story, guys. I mean, like, that's why I wanted Damien to come on here today, because perseverance and all that, right? He heard the no's, right? And it's just something that you're going to hear. I mean, like, and a lot of people that I coach, it's kind of hard to hear no sometimes, right? And it's hard. It takes time. Ultimately, is what I like to say. The jobs that you apply for, it takes time, and you have to really go about it as in, this is a bit of I got a plan for it. I know I'm going to hear some no's, but as I continue to hear no's, I'm going to get better. I'm getting better. I'm getting better at polishing myself, my story, and so forth. And ultimately, it's going to happen. I mean, like, and this is what happened to Damien inside the company. He planned for this the entire time. He understood what this was going to be, and ultimately, he landed a fantastic role in a sales organization where now he's going to get exposure to what goes on in sales. And who knows, one day he may say, I can do the sales stuff because the guys who's doing sales, man, they suck and I'm better than them. but no, it's and jokes aside, it's a magnificent story, Damien, because you had to learn a lot. You had to play catch up on a lot of the stuff in tech, right? Knowing your background, where you came from, and so forth, and being a blue collar gentleman, and then transitioning over to the tech space in a white collar field, and also still being able to do on both sides, right? Because you own property and so forth, and that's your the stuff that gets you energized. You still making that transition and being able to go back and forth between both worlds. I love that. And that's what I love about you as well too. Is I can, one minute we're talking about tech stuff, next minute we're talking about riding horses, and and you putting the horses down with a rope, right? But and cattle and stuff like that. I absolutely enjoy that.